Hello students, welcome to your science class. We are learning chapter 9, the living organisms, characteristics and habitat of your NCERT science textbook. In this chapter, we have learned about various habitats of living beings and now we are learning different characteristics seen in living organisms. Science facts today we are going to learn are, do you know snakes are true carnivores? That means they eat only other animals and do not eat any type of vegetation. The other fact is the smallest bone in the human body is the stapes, that is located in the middle ear. Sound travels about 4 times faster in water than in air. You can learn science all your life because science is interesting. And now let's learn more facts in this chapter. Let's recall what we have learned till now. We learned about different living beings and the places where they live and grow called habitat. We learned different types of habitats, few adaptations seen in plants and animals to survive in a particular habitat. We explored a few habitats like deserts, mountain regions, grasslands, oceans, ponds and lakes, and have seen the type of plants and animals that grow there and the kind of adaptations observed in them. We started learning characteristics of different organisms. We till now learned various characteristics of living organisms that like they need food, they grow, they all respire, all respond to stimuli, all excrete waste products from their body. Today we are going to learn more characteristics of living organisms. Characteristics of living things. Characteristics help us to classify and describe organisms, their functions, how species came into existence, and the interactions they have with each other and with natural environment. Do all organisms reproduce their own kind? Is the next characteristic we are going to discuss. What is reproduction? Reproduction is the biological process by which new individual organisms, or you can say offsprings, are produced from their parents. Reproduction is a fundamental feature of all known life organisms, where each individual organism exists as the result of reproduction. Students, we all know many birds lay eggs in nests. These eggs hatch and young ones come out of these nests. There are two types of reproduction, asexual and sexual type of reproduction. The biological process of reproduction also evolved from lower organisms to higher organisms. Animals can reproduce their own kind. That means animals are capable of giving birth to young ones of their species only or of their type or kind only. Just now we learned that birds lay eggs and new ones hatch out of them. But the mode of reproduction is different in different kind of animals. Some give birth to young ones directly and this process is called viviparous. And some give birth to young ones through eggs and that is called oviparous condition. The more you go to your higher standards, the more concept deeper into you can learn. What about plants? Coming to plants, how do they reproduce? Their mode of reproduction is different compared to animals. Not through eggs or not directly giving birth to young ones, plants reproduce through seeds, which are produced by the plants only. These seeds germinate into new plants and they grow into a new individual. Here you can see the phases of plant growth in the picture where the seed produced through reproduction can grow into a young plant. Even in plants also we can see sexual and asexual methods of reproduction. Not all plants grown are by sowing seeds. Few grow by other methods. For example, a part of a potato with a bud or an eye can be cut and can be grown into an individual plant. And some plants can grow through plant part cuttings, and there are many more such methods for plant growth which can reproduce new young ones. Let us learn one such activity where we can grow plants without sowing seeds. First step, take a cutting from a stem of a rose plant. And in the second step, try to fix it in the soil and water it regularly. After few days, when you observe, you can see the plant part fixed in the soil to be growing as a new individual plant. But it is not easy to grow plants in such way. Not always all the plants can grow from plant cuttings. There is definitely a technique and method to grow plants in such a way. For that, you need to take proper care and guidance from a experienced gardener. So today we learned one more characteristic of living organisms, that they produce their own kind through a process called reproduction. And we also learned that it is different for different living organisms. Our next question about the characteristics of living organisms is, can they move? What is movement? Movement means change in its position. In your previous chapters and in chapter 8 especially, we have learned various ways which animals move. You know, movement means change in its position. It can be the entire body or the body parts that we see in all animals. The movement is seen in all animals. Then what about plants? Do they move? We can easily say that the position of a plant is not changed by itself because it has roots fixed in the soil which hold the plant stiff and upright. But the internal movements do happen. The water, minerals and other food of the plant synthesized move from one part of the plant to the other part of the plant. One of the characteristics we have learned earlier is that all living beings respond to stimuli. We know that the stimulus causes sudden response due to which we may see some change internally or externally. Few examples like touch me not plants, sunflowers, day blooming flowers, picture plants, etc. show change in its plant parts. So we can say that plants also show some movement. All the living things move, but some non-living things also move. A bus, a car, clouds, etc. move. Is both the movements same? Remember, movement of all living things is observed to be voluntary. That means they know that they are capable of moving by themselves. Whereas non-living things, movement is noticed to be by some external forces or they are usually man-made. So both the movements are not same. So the different characteristics of living things is all living organisms take in food for survival. They show growth and aging. They excrete waste products for maintaining body balance. All of them reproduce their own kind to continue their species. They aspire to utilize energy. They show movement, and all the living organisms respond to stimuli. So these are the different characteristics we have asked ourselves, that are they observed in all the living organisms or not, and we have proved them right with certain examples. You will learn a lot more about this concept in your higher classes. Let's continue this chapter in our next class. Thank you.